and trust all is well. Now, the Fed is expanding its lending programme to larger companies. It, of course, follows the furore that there's been over the small PPP plan that's been taking place. Now, Subway, the sandwich maker, has been taking advantage to keep staff on payroll. It's doing it through its 10,700 franchisees, more than 90% of which ask for government support. They meet the criteria of fewer than 500 employees. And the average Subway owner, franchise holder, has 2 branches or 2 operations. John Chidsey is the chief executive of Subway. He joins me now. John, thank you, sir. You're obviously well versed and familiar with this because you've defended the right of Subway franchisees to take part in PPP. But I wonder, where you have do you agree that where there are essentially corporate affiliates with multiple venues that are getting through by the dodge of the numbers under 500 in one location, those larger corporate affiliates should not be allowed to take part in PPP?
I think, Richard, it's probably where you draw the line. As you correctly pointed out, we have 10,700 franchisees just in the U.S. We have 20,000 franchisees globally. We're the largest restaurant chain in the world, or the largest restaurant chain in the U.S. as well. And as you correctly said, we are the ultimate mom and pop. Everybody is out there, just entrepreneurs that have 1 to 2 restaurants. So they really are the small ones. Some of these larger chains where they have operators with 400, 800, 1,000 units, or they're publicly traded companies. Some franchisees are even publicly traded companies. I mean, that's a different story. Where you draw the line, I mean, that's a fair debate. And I'm not sure when you're trying to get money out the door as fast as possible to save not just the U.S. economy, but economies around the globe. That's a tough call to make on how you differentiate each brand and how big is the franchisee.
John, the argument, of course, is that those other companies have access to different lines of funding and finance that should be used first, whether it be debt, whether it be equity, shareholder, whatever. Let's address that argument to yourself and to the ability of Subway to assist your franchisees. Now, I'm not saying necessarily shovel cash towards them, but what have you been able to do to assist your franchisees through this?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Richard. So first of all, yeah, we are a private company, Subway. We're not a public company, but there's lots of things we can do. We've worked with a lot of our partners, our beverage partners like Coca-Cola, Pepsi around the world, Frito-Lay, a lot of our smaller vendors who have helped us put funds together to help the system restart in terms of providing cash to distribution, to distributors, to food suppliers. The company Subway itself has worked on either deferring or waiving royalties. We've tried to give as much financial relief as possible. So, there's a whole assortment of things we're doing to make sure our franchisees, in addition to what governments are doing, to make sure they have the cash they need to both stay open and then to restart as the economy comes back.
You see, it's classic, isn't it? It really is. I mean, you have every viable interest and vested interest in your franchisees being in a position to reopen safely when it happens. You need them and they need you. How possible is it going to be for most of your franchisees, where they haven't already stayed open, to reopen?
Yeah, I think the vast majority of them will. A lot of them that have closed, Richard, have been ones that are, as you can imagine, in colleges or universities or maybe malls where they had no choice, or in certain European countries, as you know, they just required you to shut down whether you wanted to do third-party delivery or takeout. It was just a complete shutdown. So I actually am very confident. I think the vast majority of the ones that are closed will actually reopen.
What will happen, do you think, to the hospitality, the restaurant business as we reopen? And nobody just knows. I mean, nobody knows if social distancing in restaurants is a viable suggestion or proposal. Nobody knows how quickly consumers will feel able to go back out again. You've been in the business a long time, sir, no disrespect, not aging you, but what's your gut feeling telling you about how it will go?
Well, I think you're right. If you're a restaurant that's only in-room dining, nobody has a crystal ball. I think where QSR is ideally, positioned to succeed here is, as you know, if you're a drive-through business, 65% of your business goes through a drive-through, even in normal times. Now it's even higher. But you look at a chain like Subway, where a lot of it's third-party delivery, takeout, catering. All those trends were accelerating even before coronavirus, and I just think those trends are going to continue to accelerate. And I think the in-room dining, it's a great question. When will it recover? Will it ever recover? Luckily, we're positioned like a lot of other QSR chains, as I said, with multiple channels.
Good to have you with us, Sergio. Thank you very much. We'll talk more again. Very grateful that you've given us time today. One of obviously the largest restaurant and the largest food providers in the world. It's good to have you on the programme, sir.